Good day everyone, I am Aira Sasing from BSc Social Studies, and today I will be explaining the international economic conflicts. So, international economic conflict. International economic conflict arise within states, nation-states, international organizations, and economic integration arrangement. Economic competition. So, economic competition kay mo na siya ang pinaka-common nga ning economic conflict sa international relations. Kay ang economic transaction is very common magid na. So, diha gyud may tabo kasagaran ng economic conflict sa economic competition. Economic geography can help to explain recent phenomena, including the escalating trade war. Growing tensions between the United States and China stem largely from perceived violations of international economic agreements. So, ang kaning US ug China, maon siya, usa ni siya ka example sa kaning nation nga naka-experience og economic conflict. So, economic strains between China and US includes trade deficit and account imbalance. The real economic strain arises from the China's changing economy, in which ilang goal is mahimong silang high technology manufacturing. Then, ang kana ilang goal nga high technology manufacturing is maglisod man sila achieve ana through their own. So, nanguan sila, nang violate sila sa ubang mga agreements para makabot yun ang ilang goal nga high technology manufacturing. Such agreements particularly limit the government's ability to provide targeted particularistic economics to domestic producers. World Trade Organization agreement on subsidies and countervailing measures regulates the use of producer subsidies. EU state aid rules similarly limit certain types of subsidies. Although these rules are enforced by European Commission and finding dispute settlement at the World Trade Organization, EU rules are more strict rather than the World Trade Organization rules. They also have two major differences. World Trade Organization accepts subsidy, while European state aid rules considered subsidies as illegal. I considered accepting subsidies as illegal. Next is European rules apply services, while World Trade Organization applies goods. So, murag nagay mga instances wherein magka-conflict ang ilahang mga rules. Some countries nevertheless violate economic agreements. Economic geography can help to explain why countries violate international economic agreement, since it merits the attention of the researchers. With that, they will conduct more studies to really identify why countries violate such agreements. Economic geography, together with electoral institutions, determines the benefits that leaders accrue by breaking international rules. Governments elected via proportional representation electoral system or PR electoral system provides more illegal subsidies than governments elected via plurality systems, when the beneficiaries of such subsidies are geographically diffuse. In Australia, for example, where elections are held via PR, geographically diffuse farm-gate wine producers won a government subsidy equal to 7.58% of their final product price. So, in Austria, the European Commission concluded that this subsidy violated EU state aid rules. However, supportive legislators cited the benefits of the said subsidy. One of the few legislators who spoke out against the subsidy. So, was worried kay basin dili daw equally maka-benefit ang tanang mga Austrians. So, murag kung maumanggan na ang may tabo, murag unfair kaayo sa uban nga lugar nga wala kaayo yung mga farm gate producers. Explaining varied governmental responses to economic shocks. Economic geography help elucidate why governments react differently to common economic shocks. So, in the 2008 global recession impacted many countries, but government responses to the crisis differed. The governments of Sweden and the United States, for example, chose different strategies in response to financial difficulties that their domestic auto industries faced following the 2008 crisis. So, ang US at Sweden used different strategies in response to the said financial difficulty. The US government funded 80 billion bailout to two Detroit automakers. So, silbi gitabangan nila ang nasa gitabangan nga duha ka automakers to avoid bankruptcy, while Swedish government refused to bail out Saab. So, on the other hand, gilain sad ang pamaagi sa mga Swedish. So, ang ilahang pamaagi is wagid nila gi-bail out ang Saab. Ang Saab is usa siya ka car manufacturer. Sa tatag makaingon gid ta nga depende ra gid nato unsa nga response, depende sa government kung unsa nga response ang ilahang gituuhan nga mas effective. So for example sa US nituo sila nga mas effective tong pag-bailout nila sa duha ka car manufacturer kay to avoid bankruptcy ug para di sad sila ma-affect sa ilang economy. Walang Sweden nituo gid sila na mas effective kung dili na nila i-bail out ang katong car manufacturer, which is ang Saab, kay ang katong nga kwarta is para magito intended mo to for education, for healthcare. Swedish government prioritizes spending on education that would benefit broadly to geographically diffuse groups. The difference arises from the country's electoral institutions and the varied incentives that these institutions generate for elected leaders. Further research is needed on how geographically concentrated economic shocks impact policy outcomes in different types of democratic systems. Of particular interest may be differences between federal and unitary states. Federalism accommodates territorially based diversity, and subnational governments may be especially responsive to the policy demands of economic actors concentrated in the region. So, ang kalahian daw sa mga responses, economic, governmental responses kay nagdepende na siya sa mga elected leaders, depende na siya sa kaning type of system that you have. The experience of geographically concentrated auto producers in the United States and Sweden illustrates how different policy outcomes can emerge in response to common economic shocks. Before I end this discussion, I will leave you Paul Krugman's quote. If there is one single area of economics in which path dependence is unmistakable, it is in economic geography, the location of production in space. So that would be all for my discussion. Thank you.